angels, it's Hailey Reese, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so grateful that you are here, and I hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it is for you when today's video finally reaches you. Welcome back, you guys, to yet another day in our 31 days of Halloween here on my channel, where I upload a new video every single day from now until Halloween. Today's video is one that has come really highly requested recently, and that is for me to do another Q&A answering questions that I haven't answered from you guys in years or haven't answered at all. I don't even remember the last time that I filmed a Q&A here on my channel. I know that I did do a couple of Q&As in recent years on Daily Hailey, which is my second YouTube channel. And don't worry, we will get there in a moment. But I don't think I've filmed one here in years. So I thought it would be really fun and really fitting to do one this month here on my channel, since so many of you were asking for one. Really quickly, before I get to answering all of these questions for you guys, if you are comfortable at some point during the video or at the end of the video, I would love to know something about you or something that you would like to share with me, because I feel like I'm sharing so much with you guys. It would be so fun to get to know some of you guys as well. So make sure to comment down below, letting me and your fellow Reese's Pieces know anything you want to share. So I took to both Instagram and here on YouTube to ask you guys to ask me any questions that you've had or that you've wanted to know the answers to. And today I'm going to answer as many of them as I can. Now, I haven't went through them yet, as in I haven't selected which questions I'm going to answer specifically, and I haven't thought of any answers. So I'm going to be answering real time with you guys and finding out my answers to your questions with you here. So without further ado, let's get into this. All right, so in no particular order, I'm just going to be answering as many as I can. And if I don't get to your question, or if this video leaves you with more questions and you'd like to see a part 2, make sure to let me know, because there are so many questions here now that I'm looking, and I'm not sure I will get to all of them. Now, before I get to specific questions, let's start by covering the main questions that you guys have been asking. The very first one is to do with my second channel, Daily Hailey. I got so many questions from you guys asking about Daily Hailey, more specifically asking about the return of Daily Hailey and basically what's going on there. So I figured I'd start off by answering that. First of all, thank you so much to each and every one of you who has shown such love to that channel. It's been a while since I've been active on there, and just seeing all of you guys asking about it and sharing how much you love that channel has really sparked something in me. So if you are yet to have been subscribed to my second channel, Daily Hailey, I will have it linked down below at the top of my description for you. Make sure to go and subscribe, because there will be a little something coming this week there. I will let those of you watching this in real time in on a little secret though, and let you know that I am going to be going through that channel as I revamp it and relaunch it. And I'm not sure if all the videos are going to stay public on my channel. So if you have yet to watch content over there and you want to, now would be an amazing time. But basically, overall, in regards to Daily Hailey, I miss it just as much as you guys do. And I feel like now, especially during this season of my life, it's the perfect time to bring that channel truly to life. I don't think that channel has ever seen, I know that channel has never seen the life and light and attention that it's deserved. So that is definitely a goal of mine as the year wraps up. I've also gotten a ton of questions regarding my health, and I am so grateful to all of you who have been asking me about that in regards to my mental health, as mental health is just as important as physical health. I've been in a really great headspace. I know I'm human. I accept my human. Not all days are perfect, but I really feel like that dark cloud that I was stuck in for so long has passed, and I've officially turned a new leaf into a new part of my life. But a big part of that for me was also taking a step back and evaluating what my mental health needed, as so much of my life had shifted, and really taking the time to do what was necessary for myself, for my mental and my physical health was so important. And that has been very life-changing for me. And to bring it back to my last question, that's a journey that I'm really going to be sharing on Daily Hailey. I won't touch too deeply on that here, besides in vibrational format and energetically and spiritually and whatnot. But I will definitely go more into depth about my mental health journey and my overall just glow up journey that I've been on. I've been really just glowing up my spiritual life, my mental health, my world in general, and I'd love to share more of that with you. Now, as far as my physical health, as far as I know, everything's been going great ever since I shared with you guys that I had a really traumatic seizure at the beginning of the year. That event, as traumatic as it was, really pushed me in the direction of making sure that my health, both physically and mentally, is a top priority, and it has been. So besides my usual lung issues and all of that jazz and my allergies, God, they've been so bad this year. But besides that, my health, both mental and physical, has been really good. And I'm just so grateful to all of you who wished me well when I was unwell. But thank you for asking, and thank you for caring, truly. And then I think the third most asked question was how Tyler, my family, and the fur babies are. And everybody is doing absolutely amazing. We just got the dogs' Halloween costumes in order. Super grateful for that. Tyler is also uploading every single day for the month of October on his channel. He's covering some really crazy mysteries, paranormal cases, unsolved and solved crimes. Recently, he posted a video where he dove into the survivor stories of Ted Bundy. And I just think that is so interesting. So I'll have a link to his channel down below for you guys. But Mama Reese is doing well. My siblings are doing well. Sarah's doing well. Everybody is doing super well. And you guys will be seeing a ton of them on my channel. But now let's get into the more specific questions. Those were just kind of the top 3 main ones that I wanted to cover at the beginning. Hi Hailey, my question for your Q&A is, do you still practice manifesting and law of attraction daily? What are things recently that you have manifested, whether it's a situation, material item, etc.? And what advice would you give to people manifesting? This is a brilliant question, and I'm so glad that you asked it. I absolutely, now more than ever, have been practicing law of attraction and manifestation daily. I've kind of shifted in a way, the way in which I approach my manifestations at this season in my life. For me personally, right now, it's not so much about specific goals. I know with manifestation, it's really important to manifest the specifics, and specifics can really be helpful in expediting your goals. But for me personally, in this season of my life, I've been really focusing on attracting and manifesting what is in my highest good. I think for so many years, I was such a strong manifester, and I was so spiritually powerful, as we all are, but I was so in tune at that point in time that I wasn't leaving room to step back and recognize the things that maybe weren't in my highest good. So for an example, in our last home, when we were moving from my first condo to the home that it's like the home that shall not be named, our last home. When we had went to see that home, I could tell that the owner of the home wasn't keen on us as applicants. And I can't say for certain why. I just know that I felt like I was overcompensating. That's the energy that I was giving, because that's what I was receiving energetically. And I felt like I needed to overcompensate. I felt like I needed to really prove that we were the best choice for the home. Like, I was so certain that I wanted this home that I was like, I'm going to make this happen. You know, I'm putting it out there. We're getting the home. And in turn, we did. But I had placed us in a space that wasn't in our highest good. Now, obviously, it's part of our journey. I'm so grateful for it. Wouldn't trade it. But now when I manifest things, I've shifted my focus to more so what is in my highest good. So I'll list the specifics of what I'm looking for. So for an example, if I were to be looking for another condo right now, I'm not, because I'm in my dream one. But if I were, I'd be manifesting a bright space in a great location. I would be manifesting all of the things that I wanted specifically, but I'd be manifesting the right one in my highest good. And that's what I did to manifest this condo. You guys have no idea how perfectly manifested this condo was without even realizing it. I had gotten so specific with what I really, really wanted in my next space, and so specific about not forcing myself where I don't fit. And there was a condo that I'd actually applied for prior to this one that I feel like if I would have pushed harder, we would have gotten, but I did all I could do. And I manifested that bright space, that beautiful space. It too was a bright, beautiful condo. But when it didn't work out, I didn't get discouraged. I kept putting out there this space, and every single thing, I could do a whole video on it, that I had wanted in a place manifested in this condo, down to like eerie specifics. And it all worked out. So I'm definitely practicing it on a daily basis, but more so in the way that I wake up every day with so much optimism, so many goals, so much excitement, but I don't put disappointment in things that don't come into fruition in the way that I had expected. I literally put it out there every single day, like, God, universe, show me how good it can get. Place me in the rooms I'm meant to be placed in. Remove me from the rooms I'm meant to be removed from. And I trust and put out there that it's all going to come into play the way that it's meant to. But my advice to anybody in manifesting is to manifest from a place of pure and just really positive intention. When you put out there with gratitude, excitement, and you believe that beautiful things are going to come to you, but with no expectation, watch where it comes from and just see the beauty unfold, truly. But I could do a whole video on this. I got to stop there because it's going to be too lengthy, but I could do a whole video on that. Trust me. I love all of your videos. Thank you. My question for you is, are you and Lana planning on doing another video together soon? And if so, when? Thank you for all you do. I'm so excited that you guys are so excited for Lana and I to film together again. Her and I are so excited. I love Lana more than words could ever say. For those of you who are unfamiliar with who Lana is, she's the Hawk and I here on YouTube. She is one of my dearest, most treasured friends, but she is also the most gifted evidential medium I've ever had the honor of knowing in my lifetime. And I'm not just saying that from a biased standpoint. Truly, she is so beyond gifted. And I am very excited to let you guys know that we have some super exciting Halloween content planned. I can't say exactly when it's going to be posted yet, but keep your eyes peeled because I can promise you it is coming. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. Hailey, I would like to know if you still communicate with your spirit guides. Really great question. So it's funny how often I've been asked this over the years, and specifically by so many of you who watched my channel in the early years and are familiar with my two guides, Salt and Pepper, the nicknames that I gave them when I was little. And honestly, for a couple of years, I mean, it's very evident the years that I was struggling, I really took a step back from communicating with my spirit guides, from any spiritual practices, not because I had steered from my faith or my spirituality, but I was just so focused on survival mode after I lost Grams and just so many things that have been going on. My health wasn't great. I just took a little bit of a step back, and now that I'm in this really positive state of mind and being, I've been communicating with my spirit guides on a daily basis. Every single day is filled with like spiritual practices, high vibrational practices. It's been really incredible. So the answer to that is yes. And if you guys would like to see an updated spirit guide video, let me know, because I would love to film one. But yes is the simple answer. So somebody commented saying, I've been curious about Red. You haven't spoken about your haunted plush doll in a while. Could we get an update? Y'all, it's so funny that so many of you are asking about Red, because Tyler and I had jokingly placed Red in this chair at the start of 31 Days of Halloween, and I wanted to like have Red situated here, but I felt like it might be a little strange because it is like a Valentine's Day stuffed dog. For those who are unfamiliar with the story and the spirit attached to Red, they'd be like, why do you have a Valentine's Day stuffed plush dog behind you? So I didn't do it, but I do still have Red. With that said, Red has been in a confined space, so whether or not Red still has mobility, couldn't tell ya. I will tell you guys though, if you remember back a couple of years ago when Andrew came to Canada to visit me and we filmed with our haunted dolls, and he brought beautiful, sweet, lovely, haunted rhubarb straight from New York to Toronto with him, and then did the beautiful, 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 lovely thing of leaving rhubarb. I am very pleased to inform those of you who have not asked that rhubarb is still very much a resident of Canada. In fact, she is an illegal immigrant who has not gotten her papers, but is still very much here. So now I not only have Red, the haunted stuffed doll here, but I also have Andrew's beautiful doll, Rhubarb, still here. So if you guys want some sort of a haunted doll video, let me know. But let me just tell you, jokes aside, with Rhubarb, my stepdad, my little brother, and plenty of people do not like that doll and will not be around it. In fact, if it was up to Jeremy, my stepdad, Rhubarb would be at the dump. But no, she's still here. Which will lead me into a question that was asked a lot. I don't even have to look for it to answer it. And that is whether or not Andrew and I are still friends. We are very much still friends, and we are definitely going to be getting together soon and creating content together. That's going to be crazy. Like, that's going to feel like such a glitch in the matrix for all of you watching. But I love Andrew. I can't wait to create with him again, and I can't wait to return Rhubarb. So one of the questions here I found really interesting, and that's, hey Hailey, I was just wondering, why is it, in your opinion, that there are so many dark stories or encounters about / from the other side, while we so rarely hear positive ones? Sending you lots of love. Thanks for the videos every day. Sending you lots of love, and you are so very welcome. Thank you for joining me every day. So there's two separate answers that I have to this. And the first one is that I believe fear sells. That's why during Halloween, all the scary movies, all the scary farms, all the haunted houses, all of that stuff is at its peak. People love to be scared, and people love the thrill of things. And so in that aspect, I definitely think that scary things are talked about a hell of a lot more than like the uplifting, beautiful things. But also, with that being said, it reminds me a lot of reviews, right? Bear with me, okay? I know that sounds crazy, but it reminds me of the fact that like when you go somewhere and you experience something and you have like a really, really good experience, you'll oftentimes go and tell those around you about it, right? Like you'll go and tell your mom or your sister or your brother or your partner, and you'll be like, wow, that was such a crazy experience. It was so good. You have to experience this too. You have to go there. And it's like shared among your peers. You don't really go to the internet and like rave about this crazy positive experience you had to strangers online, right? when it comes to a terrifying, a dark, a bad, a negative experience, oh, if you have one, you're probably going online, you're telling everybody. If it's really bad, you're going to the news sources. You want to scream from the mountaintops how absolutely horrible your experience was. And so therefore, you'll oftentimes read a lot more negative experiences than you do positive. Bad spreads like wildfire. Like, you tell a negative rumor about someone and I can guarantee you by noon that is spread all around town. But like, you go around saying like, oh, Jimmy is such an angel, like blah, blah, blah. A few people might say like, hey, I've heard he's a really nice guy. But like, are they going to the church to scream how great Jimmy is? Probably not. So I hope that made sense. Sometimes I go off on little tangents, but that's my opinion as to why. I believe there are far more beautiful, incredible spiritual experiences that happen on a daily basis. But when you hear about a bad one, it spreads like wildfire and everybody is talking about it. But I'm curious to know what you guys think as well. What do you do typically when you're not working social media / YouTube? All right, you guys, I'm going to keep it so real with you, all right? The other day, I'm on my computer, I'm having some downtime. I had just finished watching the new season of The Circle, just wrapped up a new true crime documentary, and now I'm aimlessly just like scrolling online, right? And I get caught up in the group that I'm in, the Costco fan group of like my local area, and I'm scrolling through reading about like all of the good deals and all the new like baking stuff and like all of the festive stuff. And I'm on the phone with my mom a little bit later, and I tell her, I'm like, Mom, you've got to join the Costco fan group. There is so much great stuff in there. And my mom goes, Hailey, repeat what you just said again. And I'm like, what? Like, you have to join the Costco fan group. Like, there's so many awesome festive things in there. And she was like, that says everything I need to know about you and your life. So basically, I watch true crime documentaries, all of the new shows, aimlessly scroll, I bake, I hang out with my family. I like walking around like the park by my house. I love journaling. I love reading. I read all the time. I read so much. I read so much that if people read my read list, they wouldn't believe that I read that much. But I did. Basically, I just am at a point in my life where I am leading a very low-key, wholesome life, and I'm loving it. But I don't do anything too crazy. I just spend time with my family, my dogs, bake, cook, and watch a lot of true crime documentaries. What do you do though? This is so fun. Have you felt your grandma around recently? So this is a really, really good question, and I'm so grateful that you asked because I actually have a little story for you guys. So I have been, like I said, in a really positive headspace, really trying to rediscover who I am as a person. And like I said, just enjoying this low-key, simple life, which I've been loving. And I know my grandma would love for me. And it's really disappointing that the last years of her life, we didn't get that like simple time as often as I would have liked. We spent a lot of time together. I lived with her for years. But I wish that I learned more recipes and like more little baking and you always wish that you did more. I don't think you'll ever feel like you've done enough with someone when you lose them, right? 31 Days of Halloween in previous years, after Grams had died, had never felt quite the same because I'd started it with her, living with her, and we would literally talk about the next day's videos at dinner. And if I was like an hour late to posting, I'd be getting texts or like little Facebook messengers from her downstairs being like, video? Where's the video? She would spend hours reading your guys' comments. I'm trying not to get emotional. And so as October was approaching and I was in this beautiful headspace, it felt all the more bittersweet because she wasn't here. She isn't here to share in this excitement that I have again around October. And so the day before October 1st, I was thinking about her a lot, and I was telling Tyler, like, I'm so excited for October this year, but I wish I had her to share it with. And a couple of minutes later, I go and I get my bag. And again, so the bag that I grabbed was my Louis Vuitton Neverfull. And the reason that I'm saying this is I dig around in it a lot and I toss a lot of stuff in it, but I'm very aware of loose things in the bag because it doesn't zip, right? So I don't just like toss coins in it. I don't just toss things in it that could like fall out. They're always zipped in zippers unless they're bigger things. And so I'm cleaning out my purse and I get to the point where like there's little crumbs in it. Oh my gosh. Either you guys are going to understand what I'm talking about or I've just exposed my purse situation. But like there's little crumbs at the bottom, right? And so I go to like dump out the crumbs. And that was when I noticed what I thought was a loonie. Now, if you're not from Canada, a loonie is our dollar. Our dollar is not in bill form. It's in like coin form. And so I grab the loonie and that's when I look at it and I'm like, what is this? So I'm looking at this loonie, right? And that's when Tyler and I realized that it's not a loonie and it's not like a Chuck E. Cheese coin. It's not like an arcade coin. It's the size of a loonie and the color of a loonie, but on either side, it's just an angel. Like there's nothing written on it. It's not a coin. It's just, well, it's a coin, but it's not a monetary coin. It's just an angel. And I looked at Tyler and I was like, I have no idea where that came from. Like I don't toss change in my bag. And even if somebody had given it to me as change, I'd never seen it. And it just popped out when I'd been thinking of her. And that was one of those moments where I was like, yeah, I think that's Graham's around. And the whole rest of the day, I felt her around too. I also recently got this tattoo. I'll put a picture of it up on the screen for you guys. But it signifies my grandmother and also my grandfather, the two of them. And my grandma and I used to always say that the butterflies are the fairies, the angels, and our loved ones in disguise. And Grams and I had always talked about how when she would pass, she would always come to me in the form of a butterfly. And she's given me signs of that just time and time and time again. And so this tattoo, the little piece of magic on each butterfly, to me represents the angels in disguise and the fine line between our magical world and the magical world beyond. But to answer your question, yes, I feel my grandma around. I wish she was here. I've struggled tremendously with her death, but I know she is here. And I could do perhaps I will do a whole video on that and maybe even include Lana in it. I think that'd be cool. Can you give advice to someone who has just recently started delving into spirituality? Yes. Okay. My advice is probably not conventional. It's probably not the advice that you'd be expecting, but my main piece of advice is to remember always that your spiritual journey is yours. There's no set way that you have to practice spirituality. There's no set way in which you have to pray or manifest or put anything out there or what you even have to believe in. For you and for everybody, we're all on our own spiritual journeys. We're all spiritual beings having an earthly experience. It's why I always tell people, and Lana always tells people, you know, for me, I'll share with you my beliefs, but it's up to you to take from that what you will and to decide what you believe in life and to go on your own journey of self-discovery and spirituality and just discovering who you are as this earthly being. Like I said, we are all these spiritual beings having this earthly experience, and our spiritual journeys are definitely not a one size fits all. So as long as you are diving into the world of spirituality with a pure, open heart, that you are protecting yourself. And what I mean by this is protect yourself in a white light or whatever form of protective shield feels good to you. The key to spirituality and to practicing protection and anything of those sorts is to do what feels right to you and what you believe. If I tell you to protect yourself in a white light, but you're sitting there and you can't get into visualizing that, it's not going to work for you the way that it would work for me. But maybe you like envisioning like armor around you, or maybe you like envisioning this protective shield that you become. Whatever you picture that shields you from energies and frequencies that are not of your own or are not of what you desire to be, protect yourself out in the way that feels good to you. And no matter where you are at in your life when you begin your spiritual journey, you are exactly where you are meant to be and exactly with everybody else. Whenever I've tapped into my spiritual side, I have felt the least alone in my entire life. And I think it is just such a beautiful journey. Are there any beings you've heard of and do not believe in? No. I can't say that there is anything that I've heard of that I don't believe exists somewhere. Did you ever have a dream of something and then it really happened? Wow. So this has happened to me a lot. And there was a period in my life, I'm not even sure if I've talked about it with you guys. I really don't know if I have. But there was a period in my life where when I would dream about people and their passings, even people that I only know in an online space, it would happen like shortly after. And it was becoming so consistent. And there was one particular experience, again, I don't know if I've shared this with you guys, that it's deeply personal and I can't share too many details regarding it. But essentially, somebody associated with our family had an accident of sorts that we were unaware of. And in the night, I had awoken and I had seen them, specifically their head, floating in our bedroom. I know that sounds crazy. It was real. And I actually woke Tyler up and I said, I think something happened to so-and-so. They are floating in our bedroom right now. And he was like, what do you mean they're floating in our bedroom? And I was like, their head, just their head, I still don't understand that, is floating in our bedroom. And we would find out 2 days later that at that time they had been pronounced dead. They were revived, but for whatever reason, in that moment, in the middle of the night, I had seen it. So yes, I have very much so had dreams that have come true. And what that means for me yet, I'm not entirely sure. But it was getting so crazy at one point that people in my life were like, if you dream about me, don't tell me. And I was actually saying out loud, like, if there's no positive to this gift, I don't know that I want to know any of that. Like, what's the purpose of it? That, again, could be a whole video of its own. Your videos raised me. I love you. Have you been to your childhood haunted house lately? Thank you so much. I love you too. It's so wild, by the way, how many of you have grown up watching my videos. I often forget how long I've been doing this now. And I'm like, wow, I didn't just start my channel. We are growing up together. It is so cool. Anyways, no, I've not been to my haunted house recently. That was another really frequently asked question that I saw as they were coming in. I have drove past it in recent years. I've parked outside. You know what, Tyler? We should go outside of it for October and bring the portal and see. If you guys want to see that, let me know. But no, I've not been back. And I did get some questions asking if I was still going to ask the new owners if they've had any experiences, because a couple of years ago I did say like I'd love to ask. I feel like that was something I really would have loved to have done when my grandma was alive, because that's something that I would have loved to have done with her. And that also leads me into another frequently asked question, and that is whether or not I would buy the house. And I'm very on the fence of that. I don't know. Ask me in the future if it does come for sale. If you did ask me and my grandma was still alive, I would say without question, I'd pay over asking. I'd pay anything. I wanted that house for her. I wanted her to have it back. Hindsight, I also don't believe it's healthy to revisit times in our life that have served their purpose. And so I'm not brokenhearted that she never got to go back. I think that home served for her and all of us in the time that it was meant to, and it's simply meant to serve for somebody else now. But never say never. It's not something that I think about on a daily basis anymore now that Gramps has passed. And I'm really heartbroken to admit that, but I have to be honest with you guys, and that's the truth. Can you actually see spirits, or is it just a feeling? When I was younger, I saw spirits in the way that I see normal human beings now. And looking back, I'm so grateful for my childhood and the way that I was never made to feel crazy. My grandmother embraced all of that for me. and welcomed my spiritual side and even just my childlike innocence that allowed for so many of those experiences. But as I've gotten older, it's just become circumstantial. I certainly do not see spirit in the way that Lana sees spirit. Lana will go to the grocery store and a spirit will encourage her to toss an avocado at somebody, and she will stand there and have the full conversation and then therefore have the most profound experience with the deceased loved ones, relatives, because of said avocado. Like everywhere she goes, spirit's hopping in the car. She's seeing spirit everywhere. My life is not that of Lana Zelinsky or, the ghost whisperer. That's just not me personally. But as I've gotten older now, it really just depends on where I am. I have heard ghosts as if it's someone talking to me in the room. I have had experiences where I couldn't even tell the difference between a spirit and a physical human being besides the energy and the feeling. And then there's other times where it's just a feeling that you sense. It really just depends. But I also have not in recent years been practicing or attempting to go out into the world and see spirits in that way. I got so many questions asking if I would return to music, and specifically somebody said, "Loving Me got me through such a horrible breakup," which I can't even tell you how much that means to me. I wrote Loving Me alone in my bedroom one night, and to think that it has healed and helped so many of you gives my soul more purpose than I could ever put into words. I write music all the time. Music was my first love. It was the first thing that ever truly set my soul on fire in the best way possible. And music is not over for me. So thank you for asking about it. And I think now that I've seen how many of you genuinely want more of my music, I'm going to make that a priority. So thank you. I could get emotional even responding to that, because it just means I can't even tell you how much it means to me for you guys to love that part of me as well. So thank you. What do you think about astrology? I love astrology. I am fascinated by astrology. So I'm personally an Aquarius. Rising is in Virgo and my moon is in Gemini. So make with that what you will. But I will say recently, I have this book called The Only Book of Astrology You'll Ever Need. And Tyler and I spent hours one night going through it all. And we just couldn't believe how many things were so accurate. But yes, I love astrology. I love all things to do with the stars and the moon, and just, I love it all. All right, this question's really good. I was wondering, because I'm very much like you, when you first saw the last house you lived in, did you have any immediate concerns? Or was the vibe of the house seemingly normal in the beginning? Also love you and hope you're also taking care of yourself. Thank you. I love you. I hope that you are taking care of yourself. That's a really, really interesting question. Let me look back for a second here. So prior to moving to that house, I'd only lived at home and then obviously in LA, but still not on my own entirely. And then I moved out of my family house and into my condo. And then from there, right when 2020 hit, I had moved into the house. And at the time I was just so excited to have my own house and more space. And I think I kind of just had, I don't even know the word I'm looking for, but just an excitement. I had rose-colored glasses on of the idea of being in a house. And I was just so excited about it that I went in there. But immediately, night one, the place didn't feel cleansed and clean. And I thought it was because they just didn't clean it as deeply as I'd hoped. But now looking back, I really believe that was more on a spiritual level too. No matter what we did with that place, it never felt clean. And I thought it was because the wood was dark in the kitchen. This sounds silly, but I thought it was because of that, or because it was so big. It was a 4-bedroom house for the 2 of us and 2 dogs, and had a basement and all of this. It was big. I thought that that's why, but looking back, I think that it never felt clean to me because it never felt spiritually clean. I never felt relaxed. I never felt at peace. But I had only seen the place once or twice before we'd moved in. So I can't really say, but looking back, I think the warning signs were all there. Again, as I said earlier, I don't think we would have gotten the place if I didn't go above and beyond and overcompensate to like make sure we were the best candidates for it. And then getting in there, it just never felt right. I don't miss it at all. And sometimes I feel guilty admitting that because I know how fortunate and blessed I was to have lived in that home. It's a beautiful home. It's not the home for me, and I don't miss it at all. Like, I was even telling Lana yesterday that when I look back on like the years from 2020 to the start of this year, I am so detached from that version of myself in a good way that I can't even place myself in that home and in that headspace anymore, which is a blessing, but it's also very eerie. I don't know. Do you ever watch edits people make of you? I may have made one. Always. I read as many comments as I can. I love looking at the things that you guys tag me and the things that you share with me. Like, I know that so many YouTubers say it, but I wholeheartedly just love you guys so much. So absolutely. And if you did happen to make one, I would love to see it. All right, I'm going to end on this one because it's been so long that I've done one of these that I'm just like yapping away. Again, if you want to see more of this side of me, make sure to head over to Daily Hailey. You will not be disappointed. I guarantee you there will be a video up there within the next week. But you'll definitely see more of this side of me because somebody commented on my videos saying, Hailey is a professional yapper. Touche, commenter, touche. This question is, how do you find a balance between maintaining a positive mindset without allowing it to turn into toxic positivity? And that is so important. Finding the balance between being positive, optimistic, and then being like overly positive. For me, it's more so reminding myself that these negative emotions, these bad things do exist. They're real. I'm allowed to mourn them. I'm allowed to feel it. And I think it's important to feel those emotions. Like when something doesn't go the way you wanted it to, or life throws a curveball at you, or you're just having an awful day, rather than being like, everything is happening in my highest good and life is sunshine and rainbows. It's totally okay to be like, well, that sucks. Like, what the hell was that? Today just sucks. But then taking a moment to focus on the things that don't suck. So like acknowledging life sucks right now. Like when my grandma died, looking back, I can be like, Hailey, yeah, that really sucks. That's terrible. And that's going to hurt and you're going to cry. And you may have a couple of years where you just are not your highest self. But where I would go back and try to shift my headspace is, but you have so much to still live for, to be grateful for, to focus on, and just shifting to that perspective of there is always so much to be grateful for. And it's the balance. You can't have the good without the bad, but with the bad, there will always be good. And so for me, I really don't struggle with toxic positivity despite being in the best headspace of my life, because to get here, I had to acknowledge that life sucks sometimes. The human experience sucks sometimes, and that's okay. And I think I'm just at a season of my life where I appreciate the lows just as much as the highs. And I know it won't always be that way, but right now it is. And I'm okay to live in that bliss right now. Truly. I don't know when to stop talking. Truly, that's my problem. Well, you guys, I have to stop there because I have just been filming for so long. I've had to like repress record twice now, which tells me that I've been filming for over what I could assume to be an hour and a half. So it's about time to wrap this up and get this video out to you guys. Again, if you want to see more of this side of me, this is definitely a side I will share a lot more over on Daily Hailey. But I did think it was long overdue to connect with you guys here because I love this community so very much, and spending every day with you, it feels like the perfect time to just grow our relationship more. So again, if you are comfortable and you would like to share something with me today, I would love it if you would go ahead and comment down below something about you, your life, or a story, or even just a thought that shares a little piece of you with all of us. Well, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so very much to each and every one of you who sent in a question for me to answer. I wish that I could have answered more, but honestly, I don't know when to stop talking. And as much as you guys are so kind and enjoy watching my videos, nobody wants to listen to me talk aimlessly for hours on end. So I'm going to wrap it up there. If you guys are new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed and you enjoy my content, I have to yell over these guys. Are you kidding me? I would really appreciate it if you would go ahead and click that subscribe button, and please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness, and until tomorrow, I love you. Bye, guys.